Beloved listeners, take a deep breath, settle into your chair, and let us walk together into a subject that shapes destinies far more than people realize. Today, we explore how a leader speaks. Not the tricks, not the clichés, not the loud motivational noise, but the calm, rational, timeless craft of communication that moves people, shifts cultures, and builds legacies that survive the speaker. I speak to you not as a performer, but as someone who has watched decades of markets, people, and human nature unfold, someone who has seen how fortunes rise and fall, not because of intelligence alone, but because of the quality of words, the discipline of tone, and the clarity of thought. So sit with me a while. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The quiet foundation of leadership speech. Most people think leadership begins with the mouth. It doesn't. Leadership begins with the mind. The mouth is only the loudspeaker. If your thinking is chaotic, your speech will be chaotic. If your intentions are self-serving, your words will be manipulative. If your emotions control you, your tone will betray you. A leader speaks well because they think well. And thinking well is not an accident, it is a discipline. Before a leader talks, they slow down, they observe the room, they assess incentives, they study the stakes, they watch the smallest signals. Where eyes move, where tension gathers, and what fears silently shape the behavior of the group. Only then do they speak, not quickly, not desperately, but with a calm that tells people, I am not here to impress you. I am here to serve the truth, and I will not rush it. The first mental model of leadership communication is this. Speak from grounded clarity, not from emotional turbulence. Because a leader's voice is not just heard, it is absorbed. It is not only processed, it is interpreted, and people interpret tone before meaning. A calm voice is a strategic weapon. Chapter 2. The weight of words. When people hear a leader, they do not listen for information. They listen for signals. Signals of confidence, signals of competence, signals of stability, signals of whether following this person increases or decreases the survival odds of the group. That is why a leader speaks slowly, not lazily, deliberately. Every second of silence adds weight to the next sentence. Every pause invites people to lean in. Every moment of stillness says, I have enough internal stability to not fear the silence. The insecure talk too much. The fearful talk too fast. The uncertain talk too loudly. But the leader, they speak like a person who has already survived the storm, even if they are still inside it. To speak like a leader, you must accept a simple truth. Words are capital. Spend them wisely. Invest them patiently. Never waste them. You don't need many words, you need the right ones. Chapter 3. Tone, the silent language of leadership. I've watched countless executives, founders, and negotiators. The ones who rise are not the loudest. They are the ones whose tone contains three qualities. 1. Calm certainty. Not arrogance. Not dominance. Just the quiet confidence of someone who has thought deeply. 2. Rational compassion. A leader does not speak with sugar. A leader speaks with clarity wrapped in respect. They know how to deliver truth without destroying dignity. 3. Measured intent. They don't ramble. They don't drift. They don't perform. Every sentence is chosen with purpose. Tone is leadership. Before followers know what a leader wants, they sense how that leader feels. A leader's tone says, I am stable, I am paying attention, I am not reacting, I am responding, and that is what earns trust. Chapter 4. The mental model of compression. A true leader masters the art of compression. Compression means expressing a large thought in a small number of words, without losing meaning. It requires brutal clarity. It forces you to refine your thinking. It demands discipline. Weak speakers confuse people. Leaders simplify complexity. Instead of, we need to improve our teamwork so we can hit our project goals with better synergy and group effort. A leader says, we are not aligned. Let's fix that. Instead of, I think maybe we should consider adjusting our priorities depending on what happens. A leader says, these are our priorities. They will not change. Compression creates respect. People follow the speakers who give direction, without drowning them in noise. Chapter 5. Speaking from first principles. A leader avoids using borrowed language. They speak from first principles thinking. First principles force you to ask, what is the problem? What do we know to be true? What variables actually matter? What is noise? What is signal? When a leader talks, people feel the weight of original thought. They feel a mind that has carved its own path, not one that echoes the clichés of the world. This is why first principles speech is magnetic. It cuts through the fog. When a leader speaks from first principles, even complicated ideas feel simple. Hop to R6, silence, the most powerful sentence. There is a tool almost nobody uses: silence. Silence is not the absence of speech, it is a message. It says, I am thinking, I am evaluating, I do not speak without purpose. Silence pressures the room without aggression. It creates space for truth to surface. It forces others to reveal their intentions. A leader understands. Silence is a negotiation tactic, a thinking tool, and a psychological anchor. Use silence not as a threat, but as a signal of discipline. Shetar 7. The leader's vocabulary. The words a leader chooses shape the culture they create. Here are essential categories of dominant leader language. 1. Directional words. Here's where we're going. Here's why it matters. Here's what happens next. People need direction more than motivation. 2. Ownership words. I take responsibility. This was my mistake. I will fix it. The more responsibility you take, the more authority you earn. 3. Boundary words. That doesn't meet our standard. This behavior is unacceptable. We don't do that here. Leaders protect the integrity of the group. 4. Clarifying words. What do you mean specifically? What are the actual numbers? What does success look like? Clarity is not optional. Clarity is leadership. Chapter 8. The art of long-form reasoning. Most people speak in short emotional bursts. Leaders speak in long-form reasoning. Long-form reasoning means you follow a logical sequence. You explain your thinking slowly. You show the steps, not just the conclusion. You allow listeners to walk with you, not chase after you. People trust what they understand, and they understand what is explained clearly. A leader speaks like this. Here's what we know. Here's what we don't know. Here's what matters. Here's what does not matter. Given all of this, here is the logical conclusion. It is calm. It is grounded. It is transparent. Long-form reasoning creates the rarest currency in leadership: trust. Car 9. Emotional integrity in speech. A leader does not pretend emotions don't exist. They simply manage them with maturity. They speak honestly about reality, but never in a way that destabilizes the group. They separate emotion from communication, not by suppressing feelings, but by organizing them. A leader says, I am disappointed but focused. I don't like this outcome but I accept it. This is hard, but we will handle it. Emotional integrity means you don't dump your internal chaos onto the people who depend on your stability. Chapter 10. Influence without manipulation. Leadership communication must never become manipulation. Manipulation creates short-term compliance and long-term resentment. Influence creates alignment. There is a difference. Manipulation says, do what I want. Leadership says, here is what reality demands of us. Here is the cost of inaction. Here is the path that benefits everyone. A leader speaks to elevate, not to control. Chapter 11. When to speak, when to stay silent. There are 3 moments where a leader must speak. 1. When direction is needed. Uncertainty is the enemy of execution. A leader must cut through it. 2. When standards slip. Silence in the face of decline is agreement with the decline. 3. When the group is afraid. Calm words create stability. Fear fills the vacuum of silence. And there are moments where a leader must not speak. When emotions are high. When you don't understand the situation. When speaking would surrender leverage. When silence will reveal more truth than questions. Restraint is a leadership skill. Sometimes your silence teaches more than your words. Chapter 12. Speaking with strategic humility. A leader is not the smartest person in every room, but they are often the clearest thinker. Strategic humility sounds like this. Explain your perspective. I want to understand it. What am I missing? Let's examine the facts together. Humility is not weakness. It is mental strength. It allows leaders to learn, not pretend they already know. Chapter 13. Speaking to different minds. A leader does not talk to everyone the same way. They adjust tone without betraying authenticity. To the analytical mind, they give data. To the emotional mind, they give reassurance. To the impatient mind, they give clarity. To the fearful mind, they give stability. To the ambitious mind, they give direction. A leader understands. Communication is not about the speaker. It is about the listener. Chapter 14. The final law of leadership speech. Let me leave you with the simplest and hardest rule. Say only what you can stand behind. Say only what you can execute. Say only what is true in the long run. A leader's words create a moral contract with everyone who hears them. Break that contract, and you lose more than trust. You lose legitimacy. Honor that contract, and people will follow you across storms, chaos, and uncertainty, not because they fear you, not because they need you, but because they respect you. Closing message. Beloved listeners, leadership is not a posture or a title. It is not charisma, nor performance, nor the hunger to be admired. Leadership is the quiet discipline of thinking clearly and speaking wisely. When your words are calm, people relax. When your words are clear, people understand. When your words are honest, people trust. When your words are consistent, people follow. Speak like a leader, slowly, rationally, honestly, and with intention.